So guys, this session will be recorded. Welcome Nandeep. Nandeep is coming right away from India, from Pune. He's been very close friend as well for a long time. He has been presenting on different channels of sharing his knowledge across. I think he's author of 2 books already. So Nandeep, the floor is yours. So you can go ahead with your session and let us can you just give a briefing before the start that what you're going to cover and what is the agenda across.
Sure. Thank you. Thank you very much for that introduction. So, hello all. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, based on the location you are joining us from. Again, welcome to the Microsoft 365 Collaboration Bootcamp Day 2. So, I hope you are enjoying all of the sessions at Microsoft 365 Collaboration Bootcamp, and even this session will keep you engaged in the same fashion. All right. So, the session title is Power Platform and Microsoft Teams Better Together, because now that we have been using Power Platform for various kind of thing, so at least whenever there is a possibility to have low code or no code kind of solutions, Power Platform is the first choice of all of the developers, citizen developers, or even pro developers kind of thing. So Power Platform is not just related only for just creating the apps or anything else, but again we do have certain kind of an AI capabilities which is coming on top of Power Platform, so it can be easily used across various applications. And the one thing out of which we are going to see today with Microsoft Teams kind of an integration. So even Microsoft Teams doesn't need any separate introduction. Microsoft Teams is way beyond just the chat based workspace where we can create our own apps, and then we are able to deliver the values for our customers as well as for our colleagues as well as the organization. So this particular session is concentrated about how we can use the Microsoft Teams for integration with the Power Platform. So that means probably you must have heard about Dataverse for Teams. So this entirely session is all about the Dataverse for Teams. Okay. So before I jump into the session, quick introduction of myself. Myself Nandadeep Nathan. I'm from Pune, India. I'm Microsoft MVP for Office Apps and Services, Microsoft Certified Trainer. I mostly work on SharePoint, Office 65, including Power Platform as well as Microsoft Azure. I'm author of a couple of books on SharePoint framework as well as SharePoint hybrid with SharePoint 2019. And onto the right hand side, here are a few of the social handles. If you want to get in touch with me, discuss more about the SharePoint, Office 65 or Microsoft Azure, feel free to do it. Okay, so quickly like what we are going to cover in this particular session. So we will start with the introduction of this Dataverse for Teams, what is meant by Dataverse for Teams, and then again how we can use those to create the native applications inside Microsoft Teams for Power Platform. And then we will see like how we can make the Power apps as the Microsoft Teams app, as well as how we can integrate Power Automate with Microsoft Teams, even how we can integrate PVA or Power Virtual Agents, which are nothing but the chatbots with Microsoft Teams. So we will do it right within the Microsoft Teams. We will not leave Microsoft Team. We will not go into the Power Platform altogether as a separate or different entity or application. We'll be able to do it right within Microsoft Teams itself. All right. So I hope that that sounds interesting. So with that, let's first start with Microsoft Teams and Power Platform and try to understand how they empower everyone to carry out the measure of the development as well as measure of the digital workplace kind of a thing. Okay. So to start with, I just want to have everyone to understand like a single hub wherein we will be able to create our Power Apps. Okay, so that means we will be able to use Power Apps, or we are using Power Apps to integrate our business applications together. So using Power Apps, we build mobile as well as the web apps with the data within the organization that we are already using. So we can connect to various data sources, including on-premises, in the cloud, as well as Microsoft data sources, as well as non-Microsoft data sources. So we have various capabilities through which we'll be able to build all those apps. Again, those kind of a low code or no code kind of solutions. Okay, so even though if you don't have any of the background from the coding or development, still with some few kind of an connectors through some kind of a dragging dropping of the controls, by using some simple formulas we are able to create those apps. Secondly, we can design those process flows using Power Automate. Okay, because we have lot many approval processes or lot many processes that we want to Automate. And then again, Power Automate is the right candidate there, which will help us to create the workflows between your apps, files, data to automate the time consuming task. So one example simple is the leave approval kind of a thing, which we are going to see in a moment. And then again, we can just not limit it to using it for those simple purpose, but even now that we have a flavor of Power Automate desktop, wherein we'll be able to automate all the processes even on our desktop too, right? Then again, the third flavor to this Power Platform is obviously the Power BI, which help us to create the report insights. So whenever we deal with all of the applications, we create data. Okay, so let's say for example, even if we are using SharePoint, we go to the SharePoint. We just don't browse the SharePoint, but we go ahead, we create any of the document inside of the SharePoint, or let's say we create any of the item inside of the SharePoint. So that means we are dealing with all of those Office applications and services, and as we use them, we create our own data. But it is just the data. But if you want to create a meaningful report out of it, so that we'll be able to visualize the information in some kind of a better representable manner, in that case, Power BI is the right candidate. So which will help us to create those actionable, dynamic, and engaging data dashboards, which we can share with our colleagues too. So we have all those offerings from Power Platform. And then think of Microsoft Teams. Okay, so through which we are able to collaborate with our colleagues. So as I said previously, Microsoft Teams is not just the chat based workspace, but again it is going beyond that, so that we'll be able to create our custom applications on top of Microsoft Teams. So it is not just the me- medium which we are using just for the chat or call or meeting, but it is going way beyond that, uh, so that we will be able to create our own custom applications. We'll be able to host those on Microsoft Teams. And then again, we are going to see like how just using Microsoft Teams, how we will be able to make use of all of those capabilities that we have inside Power Platform, including Power Apps, Power Automate, even Power BI and Power Virtual Agents. All right. So to start with means for those probably who are bit new to Microsoft Power Platform, I always like to start with this particular screen or this particular presentation. Like again, Power Platform is a low code or no code kind of an solution through which we can create the applications for Office 65, Azure, even for Dynamics 365. So this one has got quickly four products. First one is the Power BI for carrying out all of your business analytics to transform your data into the much more representable information. And then again, we do have a Power Apps for carrying out any of the application development, including your model-driven apps, Canvas apps, through which you can connect to various other data sources. So we have around 275 plus kind of connectors available on Power Apps, through which we are able to connect to various systems, including on-premises, online, Microsoft data source, non-Microsoft data source, even including Google or anything of that sort. And then we are able to build our applications. We are able to play around the data which is in the other systems. Then we have a Power Automate. Obviously, it is used for the process automation, through which we'll be able to create the flows, which will help us to drive the entire business flow automation. And then lastly, we have that Power Virtual Agent, which is nothing but the chatbot. So again, for example, if you just think of creating a chatbot, obviously the thought comes to mind is like, if it is a chatbot, obviously we should know some kind of an data science behind it, as well as some kind of a technologies through which we'll be able to create those Power Virtual Agents, or those, sorry, not Power Virtual Agents, but the chatbots. But this Power Virtual Agent is very much simple, that without writing any single line of code, you will be able to create those Power Virtual Agents. Okay, so we will see in a demo like how we can create those. And then again, we have various features available as a part of Power Platform. So we have a data connectors through which we'll be able to connect to various data sources and get and put the data inside of those data sources. And again, as I said, we do have the AI capabilities now built up into this Power Platform. So we have AI builder kind of capacities through which we are not just using these Power Apps, but at least we are taking it to the next level, through which we'll be able to create those kind of an apps which has built in some kind of an AI. So we have various examples of maybe the character recognition, or maybe even the object recognition, receipt processing, and all those kind of thing, which we'll be able to take advantage of. And then lastly, we have this data source, which is again kind of an secure way through which we'll be able to store the data. And again, mostly, for example, if you don't have any of your data source already defined, probably Dataverse is the better way to store your data, which is kind of a relational data, and you will be able to play around it. That. So in today's session, we're going to use Dataverse as our backend kind of a storage for storing the entire information. All right. So that was just quick thing about the Power Platform. And then again, let's get into the short history of how this has been involved. Because as I said, we have been using Power Platform, we have been using Microsoft Teams. So what happened is like when earlier there wasn't any direct integration available with Power Apps and Microsoft Teams. What used to happen is that we used to go to this Power Apps. So let's say if I directly go to make.powerapps.com, where we will be able to see all of the apps that we have created. So we are maybe creating very beautiful applications or beautiful apps inside of our Power Apps, but those can be directly accessible onto the mobile or onto the web. But let's say if you want to get it created in or used inside of our Microsoft Dataverse, so or Microsoft Teams. So then how what was the option available? Was like we can click here and then we can do the export package. So that entire export package was exported into a zip format. Then we used to come back to the Microsoft Teams, go to the apps, and then again maybe upload that particular custom apps. And then we used to upload that zip, and then that particular Power Apps app was available to Microsoft Teams. So which was good, miss, which was working okay, fine, no issues there at all. But there are certain limitations of this particular approach, because now that we just have exported that particular Power Apps package, imported that into the Microsoft Teams. But let's say if the author of that particular Power Apps makes any of the changes, releases the new version of Power Apps app, in that case, we still have to export that one more time, do the import here, and then start using it. Okay. So although we were able to use that, there was a bit of disconnect between these two. So to avoid that, Microsoft came up with something called as DataFlex in the month of July 2020. So this was the first time that Microsoft Power Platform got entry into Microsoft Teams directly. Uh, Later on in the same month, maybe later of July or early August 2020, they renamed it to Project Ogden. So Project Ogden was kind of a major hit, and people tried to create all of those applications inside Microsoft Teams. Okay, so all those uh, all those possibilities has given creating the native applications inside Microsoft Teams. And then towards the end of year 2020, during I guess November 2020, it was entirely renamed to Dataverse for Teams, which is even we are referring to it as a Dataverse for Team. So quickly see like what is mean by that Dataverse for Team. So Microsoft Dataverse for Teams delivers a built-in low-code data platform for Microsoft Teams. So it provides relational data storage, rich data types, enterprise-grade governance, and one-click solution deployment. Okay, so this Dataverse for Teams enables everyone to easily build and deploy the apps. So again, there are various benefits of using the Dataverse for Microsoft Teams. So we have a support to build the low code or no code apps, flows, as well as chatbots for and within Microsoft Teams. Okay, so we don't have to leave Microsoft Teams, go to the Power Platform and start doing those. We'll be able to do it right within the Microsoft Teams. And again, all of the core data capabilities from the same platform behind Microsoft Power Platform and Dynamics 365 is available to us. It also support for storage of rich data types with enterprise capabilities and with one-click solution kind of a deployment. Again, next thing is that we have a new visual editor available, which can make even very much easier to define and populate those table kind of a data. And then again, we have an enterprise security that's easy to use and align with the approach which is used in Microsoft Teams. Even we have an inclusion in most of the existing team licenses, and even storage is around 2 GB per team, as well as support for 1 million rows, and storage or support up to 500 teams that we have got there. So quickly talk about that data was for teams kind of an environment. So for example, if you again go back to this Power Apps or maybe Power Apps portal anywhere, and if you just click on this Power Apps Admin Center. So here you will be able to see all of the admin capabilities which are available for your Power Platform admin. So here you will be able to see all of the environments which are available. So from here you will be able to easily see that I have few environments. Few of those are just maybe look onto the type. Okay, so I have one default environment available, which comes with the a normal subscription. Again, I do have one developer environment, and this is another kind of an environment which is for Microsoft Teams. Okay, so from here we are not able to create anything of that sort. So if I click on new, the options available here are sandbox, trial, production, and a trial subscription based, but this one is kind of an bit different type of environment which is available. So we will see how we can create those kind of an environments, and then how we are able to create apps and flows on that particular environment. So the Dataverse for Teams environment is automatically created for the selected team, where you create an app or bot in Teams for the first time, or even if you install a Microsoft apps app from the app catalog for the first time. Okay, so the Dataverse for Teams environment is used to store, manage, and share team specific data, apps, as well as your flows. So each team can have one environment, and all data types, apps, bots, flows created within with the Power Apps app inside Teams. Those are available from that Teams Dataverse for Teams database. Okay, so we will see like how that gets created. But quickly, just wanted you to get acquainted with this environment lifecycle that we have got, because whenever we have a lifecycle, whenever we have an environment, it has also got a life cycle. Okay, so all of the environment that gets created in the Power Platform Admin Center, those have got certain life cycle. So the first operation which can be performed here is a backup. Like we can have automated backups and label backup that can be taken, and admin can view them from the Power Platform Admin Center, and then all those backups will be available for at least a week of time. Then we do have a restore. So at this time, only point in time restore to the same environment is possible, will be possible. And if the environment has been upgraded, the point in time restore will only be available starting from the moment it was upgraded. Then this copy functionality is not available by default for Dataverse for Teams kind of an environment, because it gets created from Microsoft Teams itself. Then for create kind of a thing, it is only possible through Teams, because whenever we will create any of the app or flow inside Microsoft Teams, it will obviously create that particular environment in the background. For the deletion, environment can be deleted by the team owner. So just one thing to note, that the environment will be deleted automatically if the team it was created in gets deleted. So if you just delete the Microsoft Teams team, even it will delete out the environment. For the reset functionality, it is not available by default for Dataverse for Teams environment. From the upgrade purpose, it unlocks all the functionality of Dataverse services for the environment. Okay, so with that, let's start with this Microsoft Teams and Power Platform kind of an integration. So for that purpose, what I will do is I will again go back to my Microsoft Teams here. I will go to all teams. So these are all of the teams that we have got, but probably what we will do is we will quickly create another team. So I just click on join or create a team. We'll click on create a team. We'll create it from a scratch. Let's make it as a public, and then I'm just giving it a name as Microsoft 365 Collaboration Bootcamp. Okay. So we'll just click on create. That team will get created in a couple of seconds. All right, so just couple of seconds and the team is here. If you want, we'll be able to add any of the members here. We will skip it for a moment. So now that what we can do is, again, I want you to pay attention back to this environments. We don't have any environment being created for this particular team. But what will happen is that now I will go to this apps, and from this apps, let's select Power Apps. Okay, so this is the Power Apps app that we have got, and then I will just click on this particular app, click on add, so that this particular app will be added to our Microsoft team into the left rail as a personal app. So I will just pin it for a moment because we are going to need it for several times. So this is the Power Apps app within Microsoft Teams. We are not going to the Power Apps portal and trying to do anything here. So probably I will close it down because we are not going to need it. Everything that we will do here will be through Microsoft Teams itself. So here we do have a start now button, or maybe if we can just click on new app, from where we'll be able to create a new app. So once you click on that new app, it will ask you for the team for which you want to create that app. So we'll select our team that we just have created and click on create. Okay. So what it is doing in the background is that it will set up one Dataverse environment for us. So let's say, for example, if we keep refreshing, that environment should come here. Now that we have this thing is like new environment with our team name is getting prepared, and it can be used once it is active. So right now the state is preparing instance, but you can see that as we added one Power Apps app to that particular team, we got one environment created here. Okay, so right now this environment is in ready state. That means we are okay to go ahead, create any of the apps, bots, or flows inside of this environment. Okay, so we have everything. I'm again back to the Microsoft Teams team, and here we have got the window wherein we'll be able to define our app. So for the app name, I will just call it as a demo app, and then we will just save it. Once it is saved, you will be able to see that this one has the same look and feel whenever we create the Power Apps app. Okay, so this is nothing different than we are creating Power Apps apps. So obviously this doesn't need any extra trainings or anything of that sort. For example, if you have been creating Power Apps app using Power Apps portal, it is the same experience that we have got here. So again, from here, we'll be able to start with any of the data, or we'll be able to start with any of the layout. So let's say we want to start ahead with any of the data. So we can take a help of all of the tables which are already available, or we can create a new table. So at least this is a place from where we'll be able to create a new table. But what I will do is probably I will again go back to the home screen, and again, in the home screen, we have other possibilities. Like for example, if you want to add this kind of an apps which are directly available from uh, Microsoft Power Platform for Power Apps, like employee ideas, inspection, issue reporting, and all those things. Even this one will be a good point for you to directly start rather than creating from scratch. Now from here, if you click on see more, it will take you to this particular build tab. Even you can directly click on this build tab where you will be able to see the entire information. So now that we have two Dataverse kind of an environment, so even from here you can see that we have two Microsoft Dataverse environments. Okay, these two, which we are able to see here. So this is the environment which I already had created in the past. So this is the environment that we have right now. So in this particular environment, we already have that demo app that we had created. But from here, even you can click on see all, and here you will get the entire window to work with. So onto the onto the left hand navigation, we have all of the apps that we'll be able to see, as well as chatbots, flows, tables, and everything. So from here, we can just click on new and start creating that particular Canvas app, chatbot, flow, and any of the environment variable if we need, or any of the table. So let's say we get into the table. Right now, there are no tables. We don't see anything. Let's say we will start with the table. Okay, so I will just click on new table, and here I will say it as a customer. Okay, so just the customer table we want to create. So we'll click on customer. Obviously, this one will have got ID and all those features available by default. So our customer table has been provisioned. And from here, you can see that we have various columns that got created, similar to what we have in the Microsoft Dataverse. So even from here, you will be able to see all of the fields or all of the columns which are available, as well as managed. That means which are available from Microsoft as out of the box one, or standard columns that we say. Custom, that means this is the column that we as a developer have created. So if you remember, this was the name column that we created, which is appearing here. Even from here, we can click add column. We can add some of the column, let's say address. Okay, and then we can just click on the data type. So as you click here, we have various options of data type that could be created here. So ranging from text, email, whole number, duration, date, time, choice, various fields that we have here. Okay, so let's say for example, for this part, we can go ahead with text, or even we do have a multi-line of text here. Okay, so even we can go ahead with that. We can just click on done, and then we'll be able to save this information. Okay, so we have various kind of an tables available, sorry, columns available, which we'll be able to create inside of that. Again, if you want to manage the permission for this particular table, like who should have a full access, or just a collaborate kind of an access, or just a reference private, or no kind of an access, we'll be able to do it from here. So all of your team members, uh, at least the owner will directly have the full access, but at least for the members, you will be able to define like what kind of an access they should have. Okay. Secondly, like here we have option for data and all those things. So we will come to it one by one. So here we have settings through which we, if needed, we can just change the display name and the plural display name of this particular table. Then we have relationships, because whenever we will deal with any of the information, uh, that information can be splitted into multiple tables, and then there will be a relationship between those two tables. So again, those relationship could be one to one, one to many, or many to one kind of a relationship based on the business logic that you want to create. So what we will do is probably we will just create another table and then try to see how that relationship works. So I'll just create another table, called it as orders. Okay, and then just click OK. Okay, so this is the table that we have, and then this is the name of the particular order that we have. So again, I will go back to this customer folder, and then again, sorry, customer table, and again, I will just click on the relationships. So once you click on that relationships, all of the relationship that we just spoke about, like many to one, one to many, or many to many kind of an relationships can be built from here. So let's say we start with one to many kind of a relationship, that one customer, that means one customer can have many orders defined. So in this case, we can select that particular table onto which we want to create this particular relationship. So even from here, you can see that we still have the appearance of the customer folder. That means any of the relationship within the table can also be built. So I will just select on orders, and this is the relationship that will be defined. Okay, so will just click on save, and this is the relationship that will be created. So that means one customer can have multiple orders, and then from here we'll be able to refer those. Secondly, we do have views here. So these are all of the views which will be available out of the box. Again, if you want, we'll be able to create our new view by defining what kind of an filtering we want on that data, or what kind of a sorting or ordering that we want. We'll be able to create that. And then lastly, we have edit data kind of a thing, through which we will be able to add some kind of a data. Okay, so let's say here we will add some data, or at least one row of data from here. So I will just call it as a contoso, and address, maybe I will just add it as Pune only, but okay, not able to add it. All right, but okay, so let it be. We will just create one column here. So first thing is that we started with the apps. So what we will do is, again, we will go back to that app that we had created and try to consume this particular data from there. Okay. So again, for example, if you try to build that entire application, it will take much of the time. But what I will do is I will give you the context like how to do that, and then I will switch on to the app that I already have created for this demo. So from here we can start with the demo, start with the data, and then we have customers orders tables included here. So we can just click on that customers, and then we'll be able to see all of the customers data here directly. Again, this can follow the entire CRUD operations. That means create, read, update, delete kind of a thing. So from here, if I just click on preview, this is the first record that we have there. If I click on new record, we'll be able to define new record here. Okay, so maybe um, we want to create it something like this one. One more customer we want to add, we'll be able to do it. Okay, so this is how simplistic way it will work. Again, all of the Power Platform kind of an capabilities, like if you want to add some more thing here, like maybe you want to add more controls. Oh, sorry, let me again go back to the build. Um, then to the demo app. Okay, this is a bit tricky that we work from. Power Apps directly. Okay, all right. So let it load again. But only thing is like all of the functionality that we do with our Power Apps, we are able to do it. Since we didn't save, we need to again add those customers back here. Okay, so let it come here. But all of the controls as well as all of the other things that we have been doing will be able to add. So from here you can click on insert if you want to place any of the labels, any of the icons or any of the other things, you will be able to do it. At the same time, this one has got some kind of a layout. So onto the right hand side you will see that we have a certain layout. For example, if you want to do it vertical, horizontal, even that is possible. Again, for example, if you want to restrict those onto the columns, so let's say we just want one field on one row or one column, we'll be able to do that. Again, we have this edit fields kind of a thing through which we'll be able to define like what kind of an fields should appear on this particular app. At the same time, like do we need to make any changes, like do we just want to show them as a view text or edit text? Okay, so for example, if we just do it as a view text, in that case, onto the new page or onto the new record, we won't be able to make any edits here. Okay, so I'm just trying to type it here, but we are not able to do it. So we'll take a business case of it, like how in what kind of a scenarios it will be applicable. But this is how we'll be able to control everything. All right, so what I will do is I will go back to the Power App that I had created already, because creating that from scratch takes most of the time. So let me again go back to this build tab, and then let us walk through the Power Apps app that I have created in the in this particular Dataverse. So this is kind of an app through which I want to present the normal kind of an situation for employee. That employee, whenever he want to go onto the leave, he can start by he will make use of this Microsoft Teams itself to record his leave. He will record the leave, then it will go for the approval of the manager, which is designated from our Dataverse tables. And then there will be a flow which will carry out that approval process, as well as there will be a chatbot which will help us to see the current status of that particular leave. Okay, so quickly let's walk through all those two tables that we have here. So the first table is this leave request kind of a table, wherein we have certain columns created, just the custom columns. So we have the name, wherein we can put a name for our leave, so that our boss will not reject some kind of an fancy or maybe kind of a tempting name we can have. Then we have this leave type, which is a choice column, and in the choices we have certain choices like sick leave, annual leave, or a compensated leave. Okay, so again, just another type of a column that we create. This is one thing like leave reference number, which is a auto generated kind of an field. So again, we have got ID that gets created with this. But for example, if you want to create some kind of an unique number or unique identifier for each of the record or each of the entity that gets added into this Dataverse table, you can do it by creating this auto number kind of a thing. So we have created this auto number, and in that auto number we are restricting it to 4 digits and the seed value of 1. So that means whenever there will be a one first record gets created, the value will be 0001. Next record that gets created will be 0002. So even you'll be able to see the preview kind of a thing here. And then we have added a prefix of LR, that means leave reference. So with the combination of all these three fields, the value that we will have for each of the record here is LR dash 0001000234 and so on. Okay, so the user who has submitted the request, he will be able to get that particular leave request number, which probably he will be able to use when he is having the conversation with the chatbot to get the uh, get the information about the leave status. Okay, and then again we do have a start date, end date for that particular leave. Then this one is the department, which is a lookup thing. Even from here you can look out that. And then we have this approval status, which is choice column, approved, rejected, or pending when the new leave will be created. And then we do have some approval comments here. So for this particular department, which is a lookup, let's come to the other table that we have here, which is the approver table. So here we have simple two things. First one is the department. So whenever I will apply for the leave, I will choose my department, and then we will have certain approver for that particular department. If I click on edit data, you'll be able to see that we have certain departments already created, including finance, HR, and marketing. So I can select that, and then based on the approver which is for that particular department, it will go for the approval of that particular user. Okay. All right. So now let coming back to the app that we had created here. So just one app that we have created here, which is the leave management app. Okay, so this is the same thing. It is referring the data from our leave request table, wherein we'll be able to present the entire information. And then again, if needed, we can format that thing also. So from here, you can see that again, this one is just following the one layout kind of a thing. So this is just the vertical layout with one column. And then simply user can come here and then they will be able to create a new leave. So let's say we will run this. We'll click a new record and then I will just create a new leave here. Okay. In the department, I will let's say select finance and then leave type. We can select any of the leave type and then we will select the date and time whenever when we want to opt for a leave. Okay, so just one day of leave. I know sick leave we cannot take in advance, but maybe we can go for annual leave. All right. This leave reference number, approval status, and approval comments, those are just the viewable information. User won't be able to type in anything here. Okay. So once I click on this save, at least the information will be get saved in the background. But from here you can see that the leave reference number generated for this is LR-0004, and right now this one is in the pending state. Okay, so this is how we'll be able to create that kind of an or build or deploy those apps right within Microsoft Teams. So now that we have created that Power Apps app. Oh, sorry. Okay, all right. Oh yeah. Yeah, go ahead. You can hear me okay, right? Hello, Prince. Uh, is there any issue with my audio? Okay.
Hello, Nandeep. I think everything looks fine to me.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah,
I just
please
heard
proceed.
something. I thought,
Thanks.
okay. I thought that there is some issue with my audio. All right. Okay. So we saw like how we can build and deploy those apps right within those Microsoft Teams. We did not leave the Teams interface. We did not went to the Power Apps portal to create the app, but we were able to directly build as well as even we'll see how we can deploy that app inside Microsoft Teams. But when we will build it as an entire solution, we will get it deployed. Next thing is like we will see how we can integrate the Power Automate with those Microsoft with the Microsoft Teams directly. All right. So this is just the interface from which we'll be able to do it. Again, we do have a separate app available called as Microsoft Flow, which you will be able to add it from here. But simply what we will do is we will go to the Build tab here again, and then again maybe click on See All so that we'll be able to see hierarchy of all of the apps that we have created. So here, once you go to the cloud app, here you will be able to see the apps that we have created. So from here, uh, we can click new Cloudflow, and all of those three type of apps will be available from here. So automated, that means this one will be automated on certain design state. For example, if something gets added to the dataverse table or something changed on those kind of an events. Secondly, instant, that means for example, if you want to have it as a manual thing, that manually you want to run any of the flow, it is possible. Or third thing is that we'll be able to create a scheduled flow. That means it will be scheduled at some kind of an interval. Let's say you want to build a report on all of the leaves that got created, store it somewhere, and then process it further from your Power BI report. So all those functionalities is possible. All right. So we'll quickly open up this leave approval flow that we have got here. So it is a simple flow. What it does is obviously we have, okay, even you can see that notification coming up because that flow was already active and we just submitted new request there. So what I will do is I will go ahead and click on edit. So the backend that we have here is the Microsoft Dataverse, which is the table, right? So we start with when the row is added. So the table where that leave gets added is the leave request. Okay, so the change type that we can um, have here is like whenever there is a item created, or sorry, a row created inside of this data was table. So it could be a create or delete, update, any kind of a triggering point that you want to use for this particular flow. So the triggering point that we are interested is create. So whenever there will be a new row created with leave approval thing, we want to get it um, get it triggered, and then we want to process it further. So now that that particular leave has got added into the table, which is our leave request table. Next thing what we will do is we want to get the list of approvers. Okay, so because here you saw that we have a relationship between those two tables. We have got leave request table, and then secondly we have got the approvers tables. So based on what kind of an department for which this particular leave got applied, we want to get the approvers. So here we are querying that approver table, and then we are filtering out on the row based on which kind of a row which was given to us when the leave request was submitted. So this what this will do is it will return the rows where the approval is equal to the department, in our case finance department, for which we have applied the leave. So obviously this will be just one row that we will get at the end, but this is how Power Automate works, and then we'll have to loop through all those things, and then we'll have to get to that approval email. So here we just have defined that variable with var approval email, and to which we will set that particular variable with the approver, which we will get from the approver table. Okay, so that means right now this particular variable has been populated with the approver for that particular department. Next thing that what we will do is we will go ahead and update our leave request table with the approval status of pending. That means someone has started looking into this particular request. Next thing that we have here is same thing, that start and wait for the approval. That means we want to wait for that particular request to get approved from the manager. So here we are sending that particular approval to the approval process to the approver, which is in the assigned to. And these are all of the details that we have got here, like who has requested, what was the name, start date, end date, and the leave type. And then we are requesting him or her to take the action on it. Based on what kind of an action that particular approver takes, if it is if the outcome is equal to approve, that means the leave has been approved. Um, in that case, we'll be able to make update to our row again that this particular leave has been approved. Otherwise, sadly, for example, for some reason your leave gets rejected, it will be rejected. So from here, even for example, if you have a approvals app added, you will be able to see it. Otherwise, even this one will be available to you in your Outlook. Okay, so this will be available at both the places. So even if you click on this Outlook email that you have got, from here we'll be able to take the action. So from here you can see that this one is requested by some kind of a GID, because we haven't processed that, and probably we should process that and show the actual name of the user. Okay, so let's say we'll go ahead and approve this particular request. So approve the leave. Okay, and then we will click on submit. So this particular leave has been approved process. So what we'll do is let it do the thing. We will come back here. Even from here, you'll be able to see that this particular status has been changed. And then, okay, right. Okay, let me again go back to the cloud flows. And then again, we'll be able to see again, if we go back here, this particular flow must have been completed. This one is succeeded. Again, if I go there, try to look like how the processing has been done, or for example, if you want to observe any of the value from there, we'll be able to do it. Okay, so let's say we want to debug some information, want to check during the development what is happening, how the calls are going, we will be able to do it. Okay, all right. So with that, maybe like let's take a next step, like how we can integrate all these things with Power Virtual Agent. Okay, so Power Virtual Agents, again, we saw it is nothing but the chatbots kind of a thing that we have got. So let's say whenever we apply the leave, at least we'll have to wait for that email to come. Okay, your leave has been approved, or otherwise we'll have to ask our manager whether leave has been approved, whether you need any kind of a more information, and then or probably we can again come back to that Power Apps app and try to refresh there and hoping to get that leave approved. So if you want to avoid that, probably what we can do is we can build something called as a Power Virtual Agent or a chatbot, through which we can simply ask that chatbot about the leave request status, and then we'll be able to get that. So for that reason, again, just click on the chatbots. From here, you'll be able to click new, and you'll be able to create a chatbot. So let's explore the chatbot that we already have in this particular app. So again, all of these chatbots or those Power Virtual Agents runs on something called as an intention, because whenever we start any of the conversation with the bot, we obviously have some kind of an intention with which we go to that bot and try to get the information. So even for example, whenever we talk to another human or any of the bot things, we do have some kind of an intention to which we go there and start the conversation. So similarly, all those intentions are defined into the topics of the chatbot. So here, from here, we'll be able to create a new topic. You can just click on new topic and that topics will be created here. So those topics are nothing but just the intention. Okay, so the intention of this particular bot, whenever someone will come here, is obviously want to know the leave status. So the user can come up with any of the intention by maybe invoking the uh, action with this particular bot by saying, I want to know my leave status. What is my leave status? Check leave status. What is my leave status? Or is my leave approved? All those kind of a thing. So again, it doesn't has to be exactly this kind of a phrase that we should start with, because this chatbot always works with the NLP, natural language processing. So these are just the intention that we can list out here, but obviously you can feel free to use your own language, means at least in English, like how you want to get your leave status. Okay. Then we have something called as an authoring canvas, through which we train this particular bot to react. So these are all of the triggering phases for this particular bot. And then again, we can start by asking some kind of a question. So whenever the triggering phase is there, what the bot will do is it will ask you for that leave reference number, which was generated when we created our leave in the system. And then what it will do is it will save this particular response which it has got from the human in the variable called as var input leave reference number. Okay, and next thing, now that we want to now get this particular response or the status of that particular leave from the data was table. Okay, so for that what we can do is we can maybe just click on add node, and here we have all those possibilities like do you want to ask the question from a bot. Now that think this from the bot perspective, like what bot can behave. Okay, so bot can maybe ask a question, it can work on certain condition, it can call an action. So call an action, that means it can just invoke any of the Power Automate flow. It can show a message or it can go to another topic, because topics are nothing but the intention. So here simple thing is that whenever there will be a leave reference number, we want to refer to that particular data was table where we have all of the leave request stored, and this is the flow that we have created. So once I click on edit, you'll be able to see that this particular triggering point for this is the Power Virtual Agent. We are passing on the leave reference number into this particular variable called as input leave reference number. We initialize that particular status which we want to return it back. We again list all those rows from the leave request table, and then only filter out in the rows based on the leave reference number which is passed on to this particular bot by the user. And then what we do is we simply compose that particular body to be again sent back. Okay, so we just iterate through all those values, try to get what was the status of our leave request. So for example, if the leave is approved or rejected, and we simply give that particular thing back to the user. Okay, so this is the simple approval flow that we have got. And then once we get that particular input from, or sorry, output from that Power Automate flow, bot simply returns it to the user saying that leave status is something like this. So quickly test out this particular bot. So here I will probably, if you want, you can try with hi hello kind of a thing. So it won't be directly to this particular topic, because the intention or the topic that we are interested here is this leave status or any of the other thing which is related to the leave. So I will simply say here leave status, and it should trigger to this particular topic. Okay, so now that we can see that the trigger phase has been invoked, and we are able to see that. So it has asked us for the leave reference number. So we will give the leave reference number, which is I guess LR0004, the leave which it had, which we had created, and then let's hit enter. So what it will do is it will invoke that particular um, flow, which will look into the database table, like what was the leave request status. And then now that it is saying that this one is approved. Okay, let's say quickly try it for another leave. I don't exactly remember the leave reference number here, but maybe let me try with LR-0001, which was the first leave that I created in the system. Probably I haven't, yeah, I haven't yet approved that. So it was still in the pending state. So this is how we'll be able to create all those kind of an experiences to the user without leaving Microsoft Teams, and then we'll be able to create those apps, flows, as well as bots right within Microsoft Teams. So with that, what I will do is again go back to this Power Apps, and let's see quickly like how we'll be able to get it deployed. Okay, so again I will click on this build, and this part we are already onto the Power Platform demo, the team that was created earlier. And this is a table, and maybe let me just click show all. We are only interested to go to that particular app which was created here. So now that we are coming into the deployment phase of it, like how the end user interaction will happen for this particular app. It is taking some time. Let me just go back here again. All right. Okay, we just have 7 minutes remaining. I will try to be quick here. Okay, so now that I'm again to that particular bot, what we can do is here, now that we want to get it deployed. Okay, so let it come through. All right, so here we have option for publish to teams. Okay, so right now we are working in the development kind of an environment where we are developing the applications. But now that we want to get it apps, flows, Power Automate things to get deployed to our teams so that our end user can start using it. So this is where we are trying to get it published to our teams. This is the app that we want to get it published. We can just verify this information, click on to the next, and here it will give us some other wizard, like to which kind of a channel we want to get it added. So right now I think we just have got one channel. So there we want to get it added. So I think, okay, so let us get it added as a demo leave management app, and just click on save and close. Okay, so this, I think the publishing must have done. Let me again go back to the teams and get back to this Platform demo. And here we have that particular app added as the app added as the teams tab. So from here now you can see this is a similar experience that we have seen in the development, but this one is now for the end user. So your end users can come here, they can request for new leave, as well as they will be able to see all the leaves. All right, so I think we just have 5 minutes remaining, but this is what I think I just wanted to cover. So for example, if you want to explore more on this, we have various resources available from Microsoft Teams, Power Platform, Power Automate, Power Virtual Agents, as well as some overview of those Microsoft Dataverse for Teams environment, as well as Dataverse for Teams. And then again, we have various good community references. Again, in-depth YouTube videos from Reza Dorani, which is the next speaker now. So we have good video references from him, as well as we have various good references from Laura Rogers, as well as Vesa Nopanen. So do check those out, and then you will be able to transform all of your apps that you have been developing solely into the Power Apps, and you can directly able to make use of those inside your Microsoft Teams. All right. So with that, thank you very much. We just have 4 minutes remaining now. So if there are any questions, we can take those. But again, thank you very much for joining in. and hope this session was helpful to you. Back to you,
Thanks,
Prince.
thanks, Sandeep. It was an awesome session. People learned a lot. I learned a lot. At least now I'm gonna start the leave application for my team, from the team itself, for sure. So
Thank you.
thanks for teaching us and guiding us on how to build those apps. They ask you questions.
Yeah.
Let me go through it. Just give me a second.
Oh,
Okay.
sure. Those are in the chat window.
Yeah. Those are the chat windows. Okay. Um,
Okay. This one. Do you need Power Apps Pro license for any of the features or functions you have used in the demo today? No, we don't need any Power Apps Pro license. Even for example, if you have a look at my license, I don't have any Pro license here. Okay. So let's say, let me go to the make.powerapps.com. Um, because this is just getting created as an environment. So here, if I go to the plans, I don't have pro license here. Okay, just Power Apps per user plan license will do.
okay.
All right. Any?
Then there's another one. Can you set up teams, templates for creating teams, and put a Power App with the template?
Okay. Can you set up Teams template for creating teams and include Power Apps with the template? All right. Yeah. We should be able to do it because again, all of those apps are nothing but those can be downloaded into a zip format. Those can be included into your team sample. So yes, we still have a possibilities. Personally, I did not try it on my own, but theoretically it should be possible. Probably a good pointer. I will definitely try that and let you know. But yeah, theoretically this should work.
Another one is that they have a MS Teams, but I do not have Power Apps and Flow in it. How to add it? How to integrate it? They basically asking how to integrate the Power Apps. I think.
Right. So, Miss, we will need at least Power Apps license. Otherwise, we won't be able to do it. Because from the licensing perspective, it is the same
I think
licensing
they.
that we have got. Yeah. Can I use Microsoft Try Developer for MS Teams? Yeah, Miss. Even Microsoft is giving away E5 licenses for free. If you are using those for the development purpose, you will be able to use that. Yeah, means even if you get the E5 kind of a license, it will have everything, including Microsoft Teams, Power Apps, Flows. It will have everything there.
Thank
And
you,
again, for
Nandi.
example, if you, oh yeah, thank you very much. I know I'm very much on the verge of ending
No,
ours, but
yeah,
yeah,
thank
thank
you,
you very
Nandi.
much for hosting
Could
me.
you please remember to share your contact details in the
Thanks.
chat window?
Oh, sure. Right, I
Yep.
will
So
do
your
it.
blog
I
and
will do it right
your
away.
LinkedIn, for example.